Have you ever noticed how stress doesn't always show up with flashing lights? It doesn't knock on the door and announce itself like it used to in your working years. Deadlines, meetings, bills piling up. No, after 65, it's quieter, slipperier. It hides in the background, in little things. You wake up already tired. You forget why you walked into a room. You feel on edge even when nothing's wrong. And sometimes you catch yourself thinking, is this just how life feels now? That was me, not long ago. I wasn't going through any major crisis. The kids were grown. The calendar was clear, and yet there I stood at the window one morning with a cup of tea, staring at the trees, and feeling like my body was quietly bracing for something. No drama, no panic, just this dull, invisible pressure. I wouldn't have even brought it up if it hadn't been for a short chat at the doctor's office. A nurse, kind woman, probably no older than my granddaughter, mentioned something as she walked me out. "You know," she said, "there's this thing you can do every morning. Takes 5 minutes. Sounds silly, but it helps." She didn't sell it. She just mentioned it in passing. But something about the way she said it stuck with me. So I tried it. One morning, then another. And it didn't just shift my mood. It shifted my day. It was like someone turned down the volume on that low, constant hum inside my chest. And over time, it began to change how I moved through the world. That's what I want to share with you today. Because if you're over 65, and I'm just a bit past that mark myself, then you know that stress doesn't always roar. Sometimes it just whispers you into a place where you stop feeling fully alive. And that's not how this season of life is meant to feel. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a simple daily routine that helped me, and it just might help you too. It's not a miracle cure, but it doesn't need to be. It's just 5 minutes a day, done consistently, that can make the difference between feeling stuck and feeling steady. So stay with me until the end, because you might be overlooking small, powerful things that seem too simple to matter, but could actually reshape the way you experience your days. Once you see it, you'll never unsee it. And once you try it, well, don't be surprised if it gives you back something you didn't even know you'd lost. Now let's begin where I began. That very first morning, I sat down in a chair. No music, no television, just the soft sound of the kettle behind me and the warmth of the sun coming through the curtains. I placed both feet flat on the floor and let my hands rest loosely in my lap. I closed my eyes, and I breathed. That's it. That's how it starts. Not by doing anything, but by not doing. It turns out that most of us have forgotten how to breathe. I don't mean the automatic kind that keeps us alive, but the kind that actually tells the body, you're safe now. Over time, especially with age and daily worries, we fall into a pattern of shallow breathing, tiny sips of air that keep us tense and alert, like we're waiting for the next shoe to drop. But there's a way to break that pattern, a way to breathe that soothes the nervous system and signals the brain to relax. It's called box breathing, and it's what I started with. 4 seconds in, hold for 4, 4 seconds out, hold for 4 again. That's one round. You do 5 or 6 rounds and something shifts. The body loosens, the shoulders fall, the jaw unclenches. It's subtle at first, like the quiet sigh of an old house settling. But over time, that 5-minute routine retrains your nervous system to default to calm instead of alert. And here's the beautiful part. You can do it anywhere. In bed before getting up, in the kitchen while the coffee brews, even during those odd moments of waiting, on the phone, in the car, before a nap. It's like giving your body permission to stop clenching. Now, I hear you. Can breathing really change how I feel? It's a fair question. But here's the thing. Your breath is the only function in the body that is both automatic and under your control. That means it's a direct line, a two-way phone call between your mind and your body. When you slow your breath, you slow your thoughts. And when you slow your thoughts, your entire outlook changes. And this isn't just theory. The American Institute of Stress, yes, there is such a thing, has shown again and again that slow, controlled breathing lowers blood pressure, reduces cortisol levels, and helps improve sleep. That's not magic. That's biology. Of course, breath alone won't solve everything, but it's a door, a first step. And sometimes, that's all you need to begin changing the rhythm of your life. Now, once I had gotten the hang of those 5 quiet minutes each morning, I started noticing something else. The moment I finished, I felt this odd impulse, not to rush into tasks, not to check my phone or email, but to stretch. Just a little. Nothing fancy. I'm not talking about yoga or anything. Just gentle, mindful movements. And let me tell you, what that did for my body and my stress levels was more powerful than I expected. If you're still with us and found this video helpful, I would be so grateful if you could like the first comment. It's a warm sign that you're here and that my efforts aren't in vain. And if you haven't subscribed yet, welcome. Please hit subscribe. And if you'd like, turn on the bell so you won't miss future episodes. Thank you for your attention, your trust, and for being here. Your support truly inspires me to keep going and to share what may be useful and meaningful. Let's move forward together, calmly, with curiosity and kindness. I didn't plan on adding stretching. It sort of snuck in, naturally, like my body was saying, now that we're calm, can we move a little? And so I did. Slowly, gently. Nothing that would make me sweat or pull a muscle. Just a shoulder roll, a neck tilt, lifting my arms overhead and letting them float back down. The kind of movement you might have seen your cat do after waking up. That lazy, luxurious stretch that says, "Ah, now I'm alive again." That became the second part of my 5-minute routine. Right after breathing, I began giving myself permission to wake up fully, not by jolting into action, but by easing into it. Stretching this way doesn't just loosen the joints or help with balance. It sends another signal to the body. You're cared for. You're being listened to. And if there's one thing I've learned as I've grown older, it's this. Our bodies still talk to us. We just forget to listen. Now, some people think stretching means touching your toes or twisting yourself like a pretzel. That's not what I'm talking about. This is about reconnecting with your body, giving it gentle cues that say, let's get the blood flowing again. Start with the shoulders. Roll them backward 5 times, slowly, as if you're drawing little circles in the air. Then tilt your head to one side, just until you feel a soft pull along your neck. Hold for a few seconds, then the other side. And finally, reach your arms up, as high as they go, even if that's just halfway. Take a breath in as you lift, exhale as you bring them back down. Do that 2 or 3 times, and you'll feel something inside start to unlock. It's not about flexibility, it's about circulation, mobility, presence. Because when you stretch, even for a minute, you're grounding yourself back in the moment. You're telling your nervous system, I'm not rushing anywhere. I'm right here. And I'm okay. And don't be surprised if, after a week or two, you start noticing your posture shift, your balance improve. Even your digestion and sleep may benefit. Because the older we get, the more our systems thrive on gentle consistency. That's the true power of a simple daily rhythm. Now, once the breathing and stretching were part of my routine, something surprising happened. I started to notice my thoughts, not in a judgmental way, but like watching little clouds drift across the sky. Some were heavy, the usual worries, a doctor's appointment next week, a birthday I forgot. Some were smaller. Did I leave the stove on? Where did I put those letters? But because I had already calmed my body, I could just observe those thoughts without them taking over. And that's when I added the third part of my 5-minute routine, a practice so simple, I almost didn't take it seriously at first, but it turned out to be the most powerful one of all: gratitude. I know, it's a word that gets tossed around a lot, but I'm not talking about grand poetic statements. I'm talking about naming 3 very specific things that made me feel even a little bit thankful, right there in that moment. One morning it was the warmth of my slippers, the way the sunlight hit the mug, and the quiet, just the quiet. That's it. And somehow, that tiny mental shift began to change the entire color of my day. You see, the brain can't be in fight or flight mode and gratitude at the same time. It has to pick one. When you take a few seconds to focus on what's good, what's steady, what's still working, your brain turns off the stress response, like flipping a switch. And over time, that 5-minute routine, breathing, stretching, and gratitude, became my little anchor, a way to reset, recharge, and remember what actually matters before the noise of the day tries to convince me otherwise. Now, you might be wondering, what if I miss a day? What if I forget? Here's the good news. This isn't about perfection. It's about rhythm. Just like brushing your teeth, you don't panic if you miss a morning. You just get back to it the next day. The key is to treat this routine not like another task, but like a gift you give yourself. A soft beginning to the day instead of a harsh one. And if 5 minutes sounds like too much at first, start with 3. Or even just 1 breath. 1 full, deep breath with your feet on the floor and your eyes closed. Because it's not about time, it's about intention. And there's something else I noticed too. Something that surprised me. As my stress began to drop, my energy started to rise. Not all at once, but gradually. And I realized I'd been making a few quiet mistakes every single morning that were draining me before the day even began. It's funny how the small things, the ones you don't even think about, can shape the entire tone of your day. For me, it was the way I used to start my mornings. I'd wake up, sit on the edge of the bed, and immediately reach for my phone. Just to check the time, I told myself. Then the news. Then a few messages. Before I even stood up, I was already bracing for the world. And I didn't realize how much that habit was quietly training my brain to expect tension, right out of the gate. No wonder I felt tired before breakfast. That's why this 5-minute routine matters so much. It's not just what you do, it's what you choose not to do. You're creating a small, sacred space for yourself before the noise begins. And when you begin your day from that place, grounded, clear, centered, everything else becomes easier to handle. You'll still have challenges, of course. Life doesn't stop happening just because you've turned 65. But you'll notice a shift. The sharp edges get a little softer. Your reactions slow down, giving you a beat to choose how to respond. And that can change everything. I've spoken with many friends my age who've tried this, and every one of them came back with a different detail that made the biggest difference. For one woman, it was the stretching. She said she used to wake up stiff and cranky, but now feels like her joints wake up happy. For a gentleman I know in Florida, it was the gratitude part. He lost his wife a few years back and said this simple practice helped him reconnect with the parts of life that still held beauty, even in the quiet. And for me, it was the breathing. That first gentle act of reminding my body, you are safe. It still grounds me every day. Now let's take a moment to look at what we've done here. No pills, no programs, no subscriptions, just 5 minutes. A chair, your breath, a little movement, a quiet thought. And yet the impact can be huge. Lower blood pressure, better focus, fewer arguments, more laughter, deeper sleep. But perhaps the most valuable thing it offers is a sense of control. Because one of the hardest parts of growing older is feeling like life is happening to you. The doctor appointments, the aches and pains, the technology that seems to change overnight. But in this small way, you get to take something back. You get to say, this moment is mine, and I will begin it on my own terms. So wherever you are today, whether you're on your porch, in your kitchen, or lying down with the phone in your hand, I hope you'll give yourself this tiny gift. 5 minutes. Start tomorrow morning. Just once. See how it feels. And if you do, come back here and let me know in the comments. I want to hear your story. I really do. Because we're in this together. This season of life that can be richer, softer, and more beautiful than we ever expected if we let it. And if this video helped you, even just a little, please consider giving it a like, sharing it with someone who might need it, or subscribing to the channel. We've built a little community here, one filled with kindness, wisdom, and good hearts. And there's always room for one more. Now, before we say goodbye, let me leave you with something I hadn't expected to discover. Not in books, not in a doctor's office, but in the quiet patterns of my own mornings. I started to notice the little things. Not bad habits exactly, but quiet ones. Things I did out of routine, or didn't do at all. And those things, I realized, were quietly draining me. Not all at once, but slowly, like tiny leaks in a boat you didn't know was sinking. I wasn't doing anything wrong, really. I just didn't realize how much energy I was losing before the day had even begun, just by how I was starting it. No structure, no light, no welcome, just a sort of fog. But once I saw it, I started making gentle shifts, and the change wasn't dramatic. It was better. It was sustainable. Calmer mornings, more clarity, a sense of presence, even before the second cup of tea. So in the next video, I want to show you the 7 morning mistakes I didn't even know I was making. And chances are, you might be making 1 or 2 of them too, without realizing how much they're stealing from your day. One of them? It's what happens in the silence. Not peace, but something lonelier. Another? It's what you don't do with your body in those first 5 minutes after waking up, and how that quiet moment sets the tone for everything. If you've ever wondered why you still feel tired, even after a full night's rest, if your mornings feel heavy or empty or off balance somehow, don't miss what's coming. Because the way we start the day after 65 might just be the key to how we feel the rest of it. Until then, take a deep breath. You're already on the path, and it begins with noticing. Here's to living your best life, calmly, steadily, and fully, at any age. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.